22. Yeah. She knows. She knows. Hey. Yes. She's not here. I'm Carlos. Usually Vance says a few words every year. Yeah. I'll say a few. I think he'll be here. Okay.
Right, okay.
Okay? what I could do. Well, by the time I speak, I got a few things Carl wants me to say. And the way it's in order, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The first 7 are here. So that'll give them time. They're not coming. So we're good. Actually, 7. No. One of them. 8, 9, 10. Okay. So are you going to introduce everybody? I'm going to do all. You got to recognize them all.
Giving y'all.
Yeah, but by the time I get to them, if they're coming, he won't miss it. He won't be late. Because our first 8. All right, I'm going to get started. Well, I got to think. Good evening. We will be starting tonight's ceremony in about 1 to 2 minutes. Test. Test. Good evening, and welcome to tonight's athletic recognition, 2018-2019 RCSD Scholar Athlete Recognition Ceremony. Before I get started, I want to just say that I am representing Mr. Carlos Cotto, who could not be here. He is our Executive Director for Health, Phys Ed, and Athletics in the Rochester City School District. And he would like for me to say a few words before we get into the honoring of our athletes. First, he wanted to thank, and I do as well, thank the Board of Education and our superintendent, Mr. Loengard, who is here tonight. Thank you very much for this opportunity to recognize this year's Scholar Athletes of the Year. Also, thank you to all the families for your attendance. The Rochester City Athletic Conference has selected male and female athletes of the year throughout our schools. So a few of Carlos's comments as far as the department. He wanted me to give you a little bit of an overview. As a department, he wanted to mention that due to the board's support and the superintendent's support over his last 9 years, there's a lot to be proud of. 4 athletic trainers were added to support our athletes in injury prevention and strength and conditioning, providing a professional development to coaches, as well as the required coaching certification trainings in the areas of CPR, first aid, and lifeguarding. We've added 4 years ago 4 modified football programs. Modified football was never offered within the RCSD, and we have revitalized the Monroe High School football program as well. We've also revitalized the district lacrosse program, which had been gone for over 40 years. Modified JV and varsity, citywide varsity program that currently has the schools of leadership, World of Inquiry, Douglas, and East students. The name of the team is East United, or the United. We have a second year with city-wide varsity programs and started our first girls modified lacrosse at School of the Arts. In regard to cheerleading, we continue to rebuild at the modified level and varsity level. Northeast Douglas traveled to Virginia Beach and came in second at the Grand National Championships by the Sea. First, I will tell Mr. Cotto. A thank you to the Department of Facilities, Mike Schmidt, Eric Hansen, Thomas Casa, Matt Seeger, Joe Griffin, with the revival and new artificial turf fields, East High School, Wilson Foundation, and Franklin within the last few years. Fields have been a great asset to our community youth and interscholastic athletic programs. Monroe also has their new field, which just opened up last fall, and a brand new gymnasium. There's also in the works a new gymnasium to support programs at School Without Walls, school number 7, 15, and 16. Major weight room renovations continue throughout the 2019-20 school year. All programs will be updated to standard. We are looking forward to expand our overall sports program at the 7th and 8th grade levels, particularly 10 programs with 2 sports per season, which is the fall, winter, and spring, so 6 per school year. At the following schools, School 3, 4, 5, 8, 12, 17, 19, 28, 45, and 50. These additions continue to provide our youth with the same experience as other youth outside of the Rochester community. As we increase overall opportunities and experiences, we begin to see the impact interscholastic athletic participation has on our youth within the RCSD, as well as in our community in preparing our scholars for college and career opportunities. The following statistics will probably amaze some of you. On average, our students in grades 7 through 12 across RCSD, if they're playing no sports, they have a 75% attendance rate and a 1.6 GPA. One sport, 90% attendance, 2.0. 2 sports, 92% attendance, a 2.2 GPA. And 3 sports, 95% attendance, and a 2.7 GPA. Rochester City Athletic Conference has selected, like I mentioned earlier, 1 male and 1 female across the Rochester City School District. Each scholar athlete being recognized today has exemplified what it takes to be a student athlete by meeting the following criteria: overall GPA of 3.0 or higher, 93% attendance, excellent citizenship, true leaders and role models within their individual program, building, and in their school community. The group of the scholar athletes that will be recognized tonight has an overall GPA of 3.88. So that's great. Let's clap that up. In order for our young men and women to maintain a balance between academic and athletic success, it took self-determination, commitment, dedication, and a plan to set out by goals which allowed our scholars to stay focused and on track to accomplish this overall success in their high school career. But most importantly, it is also to take support and guidance from their family and our community, parent, guardians, grandparents, relatives. So if we could have all the parents and guardians, coaches, community members, and athletic directors, please stand to be recognized. Administrators, thank you. I'm joined by fellow athletic directors, Eric Robinson from East, Robert Thomas from Leadership, and David Michelson from School of the Arts, and they will be helping me present the award. I think I got all the names right because I checked everybody in as you came in. So if I mispronounce your name, I apologize ahead of time. We will start off with Makara Ramsey from East High. She's a 12th grader with a 3.8 GPA, College of Interest, John C. Smith University. She participated in the sports of swimming, cheerleading, basketball, and track and field. Congratulations, Makara. Our next recipient, Chaz Washington, East High. Chaz is a 12th grader, GPA 3.75. He will be attending Damon College on a scholarship, and he played basketball. Our next recipient is Jainaba Cham from Edison Tech. She is a 12th grader with a 3.67 GPA. She will attend the University of Niagara on full scholarship to play women's soccer. She also participated in basketball and track. Our next recipient, also from Edison, Michael Seapluck. Michael is a 12th grader, 3.9 GPA. College of interest is Buffalo State, majoring in the medical field. His sports are cross country and track. Our next athlete is from Franklin, Sally Pollock, 12th grade. GPA of 3.81. Her college of interests are MCC, Fisher, RIT, SUNY Geneseo, CUCA, and St. John's, majoring in pre-law, nursing, elementary education, and counseling. She participated in volleyball, bowling, and track and field. Congratulations. Our next athlete is from Franklin, Nasir Lin. Nasir is 12th grade, 3.83 GPA. College of interest, Canisius and Ithaca. SUNY Brockport and SUNY Cortland and RIT in sports management, sports psychology, athletic administration, business and finance, or physical therapy. Nasir participated in indoor track and field. Our next award winner is Aja Roundtree. Aja Roundtree is from Franklin. As you could see, she has many medals and a Section 5 champion. We want to thank Aja and her mother for attending this ceremony as well. Our next scholar athlete is from Leadership, Sharad Holt. Sharad is our youngest recipient. He is a 7th grader, GPA of a 3.50. He played football, basketball, and tennis. And as you can see, he has many years to decide what he wants to major in. Congratulations. Our next award winner is Tejeria Brown from Northeast Douglas. Tejeria is in the 10th grade with a GPA of a 4.10. Her college of interest, St. John Fisher and MCC. She would like to major in culinary arts and she played basketball and softball. Congratulations. Our next award winner, Ethan Nero Schreiner from Northeast Douglas Prep. Ethan is in the 11th grade, GPA of a 3.46. Colleges of interest is SUNY Brockport in mechanical engineering or mechanics in engineering, and he also participated in bowling and baseball. Congratulations. Our next recipient is from Rochester Early College, Charday Cooper. Charday is in 12th grade. She has a GPA of a 3.50. College of interest, Barton College in Morrisville, majoring in computer science. She was a 3-sport athlete with volleyball, basketball, and softball. Congratulations. Our next athlete from Wilson Commencement, Ala Win. Miss Wynn is in the 11th grade with a GPA of a 4.40. College of interest is the University of Rochester, majoring in engineering, but still open to other possibilities. She participated in the sports of tennis and golf. Congratulations. Since we started the presentations, has any other athletes came in? Yes, very good. Okay, our next recipient. From RIA, Guy Do 2. Guy Do 2. 12th grader. GPA 4.28. Colleges of interest, Finger Lakes and SUNY Brockport. Majors in physical education, which we love that one. Sports he participated in was volleyball, swimming, and tennis. There he is. Beautiful, beautiful picture. Anybody else? One more? Okay. Another student from RIA, Ali Haji. Grade 11, GPA 4.4. Colleges of interest, undecided. Majors, business. Participated in cross country, indoor track, and track and field. Ali, congratulations. Anybody else? Okay, the following athletes are not in attendance, but I will announce them and recognize them. We have somebody else? Okay. Okay, our next recipient, Nigel King from School of the Arts. Nigel is in 12th grade with a GPA of 4.0. Colleges of interest, Finger Lakes Community College. Wants to major in EMT and paramedics. He participated in the sports of volleyball and basketball. Congratulations, Nigel. Anybody else enter? Okay. We have two recipients from Monroe. Angela Bautista Perez, grade 12, GPA 4.48, major in culinary schools, played softball. We also have Christian Ramos from Monroe High School. 12th grader, GPA 4.47, colleges of interest, RIT, majoring in civil engineering, played baseball. We also have Samuel Jackson from Rochester Early College, grade 11, GPA 3.20, college of interest, University at Buffalo, majoring in physical therapy. He also played football, basketball, and track. Our next recipient, who is here, is Haylander Candelario from Leadership. Grade 12, GPA 3.68, College of Interest, MCC in Liberal Arts and Computer Engineering, sports of volleyball, bowling, and baseball. The next athlete is Yernesis Burgos from Soda, grade 12, GPA 3.85, College of Interest, Niagara University, RIT, and SUNY Brockport, majors in political science and criminal law, sports, soccer, basketball, and softball. Our next recipient is Ricky Gamble from Wilson Commencement. Ricky Gamble is a senior, GPA 3.0, College of Interest, University of Albany, which he will be attending on scholarship, majoring in physical therapy. Ricky participated in his career at Wilson football, basketball, and baseball. Our next recipient from World of Inquiry, Jasmine Breedy. Jasmine's a 12th grader, a GPA of 4.14. Will be attending Clarkson University on scholarship, majoring in biology and physician's assistant. Sports were volleyball, bowling, and softball. Our last recipient from World of Inquiry, school number 58, is Rhea Weathers. Rhea is a 12th grader with a GPA of a 4.21. College of Interest, Albany College of Pharmacy and Health Sciences, majoring in pharmaceutical. She participated in the sports of tennis, bowling, and golf. Is that everybody? Okay, again, before we finish our recognition ceremony, I want to point out that Mr. Van White is here, and he usually says a few words to our athletes. So the floor is yours. Thank you.
I want to first thank district staff for putting on this event, for highlighting our young folks. I heard a couple of parents and people say, okay, where's the picture? Where's the picture? They got the picture straight, and we're very proud of you. One of the greatest athletes of all time, one of the greatest humanitarians of all time, a guy by the name of Muhammad Ali said, it's not bragging if you can do it. And so today is a day for you all to brag. I know that doesn't sound right, but yes, today it is a good day for you all to brag. I heard GPAs like 4.4 and 4.6 and 3.6. I tell you, mine wasn't even half of that. So you all are entitled to brag. I heard about colleges that I would have dreamed to have gone to when I was a kid. That's something to brag about. I heard about your successes on and off the field. That is something to brag about. And the reason why bragging is important is today, there's not a lot of good news about you all on the news, right? And I want to thank, I think it was Channel 10, who was it? For showing up tonight, was it Channel 10? To show the good news that is happening in this district. And you all represent that, and that's right, we are very proud of you. So when you walk out of this building, everybody who got a plaque, hold it up, hold it up. When you walk out this, hold up your plaques if you're here. Hold up your plaques that you got, the awards that you got. Hold them up. Brag about who you are. You're successful. We are happy. We are proud. Thank you for doing us proud.
Thank you for those kind words. Again, we want to thank everybody for coming tonight. This is such a great event. We love this every year. Just promotes everything that we're all about in our department. And I know Mr. Cotto wishes he was here, but I'm sure he will connect with many of you when he returns. We'd like to have all our award winners come up for a group shot. Come on up. Yes, thank you. Also, if you noticed as you walked in today, we have the nice individual posters of all the award winners in the hallway. Those are for you. Those are for you to take home. There will be some adults in the hallway helping you with that, so make sure you bring your poster home. Again, make sure you bring your poster home. Also, please feel free to help yourself with the food that is here for you. If you didn't get a sandwich or something to eat prior to the recognition, please help yourself.
Cheese. All right, hey, listen, before you young people leave, there's one thing I forgot to say. You all you're standing already, so it's going to be easy. Give a standing ovation to your parents, your loved ones, your aunties, your uncles, all those people that got you through, the teachers, the principals. We want to thank you. Well done, well done.
Don't forget your posters and the food. Have a great night. Drive home safely. I wish they all came because then the order, then she comes, he's not here. Yes, mine did. One of mine did. Hey, how you doing?
The time is now 6:36. Sorry for the 6-minute delay, but we were discussing some important preliminary matters. Good evening, everybody. Good evening. Oh, come on. We can do a little bit better than that. I know it's, here we go. One more time. Good evening. Good evening. All right. That's one of my favorite people out there, former Commissioner Funches. How are you? Good. She's just checking up on us, making sure we're still doing what we're supposed to do. Isn't that right? All right, let's begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. We got quite a few young folks around here today. I think, let's see, I need a young person to help me with the Pledge of Allegiance. Now, young is a relative term. Second row, where you see second row? Oh, is there somebody behind Carlos? Yeah, move, Carlos. Carlos is moving so we can see her. Carlos, you gotta move out of the way. Carlos, you trying to talk her into it? Can she, will you do it with, is that your mom? You do it with your mom? All right, let's give him a round of applause. What's your name?
Layla.
Where you go to school?
Briarwood.
Okay, all right. Now, do me a favor. Would you mind leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance? The flag is over here. Whenever you're ready, we'll just follow you.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Wonderful job. Thanks, Mom. Let's give her a round of applause. We appreciate that. Carlos, we appreciate you for moving out of the way so we could, and trying to convince her. All right, next item on our agenda is, we've had meetings before this. I see a lot of different faces in here, so I'm gonna try to explain some of this stuff very quickly. We have what we call minutes that record what we did before, and we have to approve those minutes. So I'm gonna ask for a motion to approve the business meeting minutes from May 14th, May 23rd, the special meeting on June the 6th, and the business meeting on June the 13th. I heard a motion from Commissioner Hallmark. Is there a second? Second from Commissioner Powell. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any nays? Well, that's a good thing. All right, I should also tell you, Dan, I see Dan back there, there are some rules that we have to describe for you in a building like this. City government becomes concerned that people understand where they need to go if there's an emergency. And as you can see, there's exit signs. Your best bet is to exit out of this side to my right. Do not use the elevators. You should go down the stairs. There's directions, signs telling you where to go. Proceed carefully and cautiously. The other thing I need to tell you is don't hesitate to go to the bathroom if you have to. We ask that you do it quietly, including conversations that you may have in this room, but we'd ask that you be respectful and have those conversations quietly. And then finally, there is going to be a speakers list. And everybody here understands, who've been here before, that we want to hear the comments that you have, the concerns that you have. But because there's typically a number of people who have concerns about what's going on in their schools, we limit people's comments to 3 minutes. Our clerk over there will have this little like egg timer, and it makes this little obnoxious noise, and that's your hint for summing it up. If you keep on talking, there are rules that we can invoke that will require that you stop speaking, and I don't want it to come to that. And the reason why we have those rules is we want to make sure that everybody has an opportunity to be heard. All right. I'm going to move around the agenda just a bit. We have school number 46 is going to do a presentation, what our superintendent developed in response to the need for people to understand the good things that were happening in this district, the best practices that are happening in this district. Our superintendent wisely said, we ought to have a time on our agenda where we highlight some of the great things that our schools are doing that other schools can emulate, not only in our district, but heck, throughout the state of New York. So without further ado, Superintendent?
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, everyone. One more time. Good evening. My name is Tahani Pantoja, and I've had the amazing privilege of serving as the school principal at Charles Carroll School number 46. We are so incredibly excited to present today and be featured in the Bright Spot as a school, and as we talk about how we moved from priority status into good standing. We're going to first begin just quickly talking about our theory of action. We knew in order to ensure that our students achieved growth throughout the years, last few years, we needed to ensure that we had a systematic look at data. We had to really look at reviewing data and protocols. We also need to focus on monitoring each and every student. We also, in the process of multiple years, took a look at the curriculum. We recognized there was a missed opportunity in writing and created an instructional priority in that area. We knew that through our engaging ELT program, bringing amazing programs like financial literacy and cooking, that we could create a school climate and culture that truly would impact the overall success of our students. I have my instructional leadership team here today, and we're going to talk about 3 areas that we really feel made a difference in our school community, and that's our instructional priority in writing, our school climate, culture and climate, and also our proactive data systems. I have to my left our assistant principal, Adrienne Steflik, and she's going to talk about our proactive data systems and our MTSS.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Multi-tiered systems of support is a framework to ensure an equitable educational experience where all students succeed, because school staff accept, understand, and support them. It's truly knowing every student by face and name, and that's what we do well at School 46. We refined the system to be proactive in identifying our struggling and advanced learners, and through that, it influenced the school-wide systems to drive the change. It started with a laser-like focus on data to help all students grow. Proactively, teacher teams identified the strengths, challenges, learning styles, and social-emotional wellness of each student. Through these meetings, there was an increase in collaboration between teachers, administrators, families, and student support specialists, which resulted in influencing the broader school-wide systems. For example, in the teacher teams, we noticed that our Tier 1 students, our students on grade level, were not growing fast enough. So through that, we did an assessment analysis, which influenced our school priority and decision to move forward with common assessments and action research. To tell us a little bit more about that is Ms. Tara Toole.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I'm Tara Toole, and I'm an intervention prevention teacher at number 46 school. I will be talking about highly effective best practices. We know research says reading and writing go together. Knowing this, at School 46 for the last 3 years, we decided to have a writing focus. We use common assessments based on higher level thinking questions that mirror New York State assessments. We use common rubrics that we use to look at student work at grade level meetings. There is targeted teacher professional learning that includes instructional support and coaching, which includes intervention and acceleration. Feedback is given and is ongoing. Administration to teachers, teachers to teachers, but most importantly, students are giving each other feedback. The staff and students at 46 knew we had great momentum in writing and wanted to link that to reading. As a school community, we began to investigate a literacy program spearheaded by a 6th grade teacher. We had amazing grade 6 results with our pilot program. As you can see with our data up there, the cohort analysis data showed a 44% increase in students meeting growth targets, and there was a 32% increase in grade 6 students being on grade level. I'm going to now pass it over to Mr. Mike Franciosa to talk about our culture and our climate.
Good evening. Good evening. At School 46, we have a robust and vibrant climate where students and families feel safe, welcomed, and valued. We know each child by face and name, family, and story. Our school community prides itself on a right-sized triangle where the overwhelming majority of students demonstrate Tier 1 behavior. Data is analyzed via a myriad of methods to provide individualized social emotional learning and supports. Interventions that are data-driven, personalized, specific, and frequent are monitored with regularity, such as mentoring, peace circles, leadership opportunities, daily check and connect, and restorative practices. At our school, students and staff accentuate the positive, celebrate our success often, and recognize that our PBS school community is just good, clean fun. At times, we recognize that it is necessary to dress up as superheroes, take a much-needed pie in the face, or occasionally have your hair cut into a mohawk on stage.
All right.
Together, we dance, sing, perform, create, cook, construct future cities, and laugh often, all the while enriching lives, building strong relationships, and making each school day an event that you just can't wait to wake up for. I would like to now introduce Mary Pellegrino for our next steps.
Good evening. My name is Mary Pellegrino. I'm a reading teacher at 46. I'm here to talk about the next steps as we embark onto the 2019-2020 school year. As a school in good standing, we're now looking towards being a reward school. Since we've had such great success with our 6th grade pilot literacy program this year, we embarked on an action research project to build upon and foster this growth for all of our students at School 46. With our kindergarten through grade 5 teachers, we identified essential elements for a literacy program. We knew that a balanced literacy approach within a workshop model was a key element for us. We also wanted to make sure that a literacy program that we chose had a high level of rigor and student engagement. A key factor for successful implementation for us was grade level discussions, embedded instructional support, and coaching opportunities throughout the school year. Through this action research, we fostered unanimous support from our school and parent community. Our school family is looking forward to expanding our success from 6th grade throughout our kindergarten through 5th grades.
And last but not least, of course, we would be remiss if we didn't leave this with just a snippet of our students and their performance. So, without further ado, the School 46 Choir.
You say I'm loved, but I can't feel a thing. You say I'm strong, but I think I am weak. You say I'm held, when I have fallen short, and when I don't belong. Oh, you say I'm yours, and I believe what you say of me. I believe.
All right.
And that's our school. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Your presentation is not only instructive but inspiring, and thank you to Dan for having the idea to highlight the best practices in this district. And I'm sure Terry, who is here, is paying close attention to that. Let's welcome Terry Dade, our incoming superintendent. All right, so let's continue on with the business of this board meeting, and that would mean that we would begin with speakers addressing an agenda item. And there is one, Ian Pardo Gonzalez. All right, let's give him a round of applause. All right, that's what I'm talking about. Look at that young man. How you doing? I love that jacket. It's a sharp jacket.
Good morning. Good afternoon. I am Ian Pardo from the Bilingual School Spanish Academy. I am here to vote for Ms. Diaz so she can stay on the school the whole time at the school so she can teach us how to read.
Wow, awesome, man, that is awesome.
She's a good person because she teaches how to read every day. When we go to her class, she knows what to do with us. She teaches how to read. She knows what we like. She every day shows us that doesn't matter when you don't know how to read. She teaches us every day when you don't know to read, when you start to read, you know when you're reading.
Amen. All right. Good job. Excellent job. I know he was giving his teacher a lot of credit, but is that Mom back there? Let's give Mom a round of applause. Good job. Good job, Mom. You did a great job. Next, we have speakers not addressing an agenda item, and we're going to begin with Cynthia Clay. Ms. Clay? I saw her here earlier. Oh, there she is. She will be followed by Donna Hodgkin. And I would ask that the speakers sort of line up to the left of the speaker who's at the podium so we can make sure we keep a flow of speakers going. Ms. Clay?
Hi, normally I'm here to speak on my son and the racist teacher who shoved him. I come to parent engagement. I never knew about parent engagement before this happened with my son. I've come to meetings that happen without me. They scheduled a meeting at 8 o'clock in the morning and with the teacher that shoved my son. Can I make it to this meeting? No. So my question is, why is parent engagement not given the leeway or more? How come they're not supported? How come when I come to parent engagement, I'm fought? How come when I come to the city school district, I feel that the entire board and the administration does not support me? As a parent, you want my son sitting in that seat because you want that money every time he sits in that seat. It's all about the money, I guess, because certainly you don't care about my child. Dr. Green had a meeting with this teacher where she could have apologized for shoving my son, where she could have apologized for racially profiling my son and putting him out of her class even before he got to her class. But no, I didn't get that chance, so no, I am still upset about that. And they had a private discussion behind closed doors that I am not allowed to know anything about, but quote unquote, they disciplined her. I'm not satisfied. And now when I come to parent engagement to get the people that work there to help me, I'm being told I can't have their help or their support. I met with Dan Lowengar, and he had the nerve to tell me, Well, maybe you shouldn't bring your children to the meeting and see you speak if they're going to get upset seeing you upset. No, if they don't see me supporting them and fighting for their rights, which is 2020, it's almost 2020, and you got these racist tenured teachers on the district payroll being covered and protected because Anna Burbanski has an airtight contract. No, it's time out for that. These racist teachers, and you know who they are because there has to be a record of each time there is a meeting with and what the meeting is about. This teacher had meeting after meeting at 39 school, Miss Diane Hamilton, and each year she had meeting after meeting. She had to have her union rep come because she won't meet with a parent without them. So tell me, you, the district, the union, you're all culpable for this racist teacher putting her hands on my child. And then you didn't even call the police, file anything. You didn't help me. And now you're trying to get rid of the two people that are helping me? How dare you? And the racist comment that Dan Loengard said to me, maybe you shouldn't bring your children. Oh, excuse me, I'm a single parent. Where would I take them to? Or are you not in touch with the problems that a single parent faces? Thank you.
Donna Hodgkins will be followed by Mary Ann Torres. For those who have never attended a board meeting before, it may seem odd or difficult to see someone express that kind of concern and then not have anybody respond. We try to be as disciplined as possible because this is the period of time that we listen to people. It doesn't mean we don't respond. And so oftentimes you'll see people leave the room or you'll see staff people following a particular person who just made a comment, but from the dais we don't respond because you can imagine what would happen and nothing would get resolved from this vantage point. So we do respond, but offline. Sometimes it's not the response that people want. I gotta be honest with you, but we do respond, just not in this setting. The next person to speak is Mary Ann Torres or Donna Hodgkins. How about Normar Gonzalez? How about Brady Poole? And I'm sorry, what's your name, ma'am? Brandy. I'm sorry, Brandy Poole. So you're all set? Yeah. Thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you, Dr. Nelms. Clara, the young lady that stood up behind you, was she a speaker? Were you a speaker, ma'am? Ma'am, you. I'm sorry? She needs a translator. Do we have a translator? Okay. Thank you.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Normar González y estoy aquí por la señora Díaz,
I am here because of Mrs. Diaz,
la bibliotecaria de la Academia Bilingüe.
the librarian from the Bilingual Academy.
Como dijo mi niño,
As my son shared,
me gustaría, ¿verdad?, que ella estuviera a tiempo completo en la escuela.
I would like for her to be full-time in that school.
Pues ya que mi nene tuvo mucho progreso
As you can see, my son had a lot of progress
en el inglés
in his English
y en la lectura
and also in reading,
y en cuanto pues académicamente también.
and also academically.
Ella lo ayudó y me gustaría que pues que tuviera tiempo completo en la escuela.
She helped him, and well, I would like for her to be full-time at the school. That's it.
Thank you. Clara Broadness. Clara Broadness.
I'm not going to speak.
Okay, all right. Thank you. Melanie Funches.
Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening.
I just am coming tonight to express, when I came on at the beginning of 2018, I came on with a charge around doing work around special ed. And as we've come to a point where that work is reaching a point where we can move forward, I just wanted to take this time to say thank you to you all for, even though I am not there, I'm not in this capacity with you, that you stayed the course and saw this thing through. And I just wanted to take this opportunity to also say, that the work is just getting ready to get started. And that once we go from this part to the next point, that we need to do, as I said when I was giving my closing remarks when I left the board, that we've shown that we can do work in a different way. And I've shown that, and I have proven through doing it, that it can be successful. So as we move forward to get a better quality education, a world-class education for both our gen ed kids and our students with disabilities, I am imploring you that don't let it stop here. With the same fervor that we went to get to this point, I am just asking you to move that forward and to stay the course and to keep the people who helped you get here in mind as we get ready to move forward. And that's all I want to say. And I just want to say thank you.
Cornice Williams. Cornice Williams will be followed by Tammy Taylor Brown.
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Cornice Williams, and I'm from school number 7, Virgil I. Grissom, and this is part of the staff that is here with me to help us to relay how we feel. Many of us from School 7 family are very concerned regarding the transfer of our assistant principal, Jeannie Markman. We would like you to reconsider this decision, and for that, here is our reasons. Ms. Markman has built a relationship with students, parents, and staff. She has only been in the building for 5 years, and yet, she has yet to see a class through to graduation. It makes no sense to sever the relationships she has built over the time. We need Ms. Markman to continue to be the primary bridge and fostering the relationships among everyone. Ms. Markman's leadership and special education qualifications are stellar. Our building has increased in our special education population significantly in the last 4 years. It is imperative that we have an AP who is familiar with the process and the students. She knows what would be the most successful placement for each child. And by the way, she knows every child in this building. School 7 has been in constant transition for the last 4 years. We moved to Jefferson during the construction of our building. We moved back into our new building, which also required troubleshooting the new and different problems that has an impact on our day-to-day operations. Our students deserve stability, and she is an integral component to the everyday workings of this school. Ms. Markman is highly involved in all school activities held before, during, and after school. The students, parents, and teachers have a wonderful, trusting rapport with Ms. Markman. Students in particular who feel a sense of loss if Ms. Markman was no longer a prominent member in our school community. Ms. Markman has an open door policy which makes everyone feel welcome, as well as heard and validated. Not only the students, it's for the staff also that her door is open. She helps to solve issues in a timely manner She has gone far above the district's expectations, strive to support the School 7 community in any way that she can. So in closing, we are imploring that you rescind your decision to move Ms. Markman. This would align with what the distinguished educator recommends to keep cohesiveness and continuity within a school which has had several years of transition. Our students deserve stability, and so does our staff. Thank you.
Thank you. Tammy Taylor Brown will be followed by Karen Morales.
Hi, good evening. I'd love to echo the sentiments of school number 7. We found out as well that we are losing an assistant principal, Joyce Dunn, at school number 12, and I'm here to speak on her behalf. We received that news 2 days ago. Joyce is slated to be moved to a high school position, and I can't overemphasize my shock and disappointment when we found this news out. I've spent the last 20 out of 32 years in the district at School 12. School 12 is my home away from home, and I care about it deeply. And as you all know, our school's been through a lot in the past few years. You know it very well. We suffered a terrible loss. We've been under intense scrutiny. We've had several changes in our school leadership. We've had 3 principals in 3 years, and we'll be welcoming our 4th principal in a couple of weeks. Joyce Dunn has been the only administrator to remain at School 12 throughout these difficult years. It's my strong opinion, and I hope you would agree, that consistency is crucial for a healthy school environment. Allowing Joyce to stay would enable her to help with the transition a new principal needs to make and continue the outstanding work she has started. Joyce has been my direct supervisor for 3 years. And as I said, out of 32 years that I've been in the district, she's been one of the most knowledgeable, competent, supportive administrators I've ever worked with. She's helped me grow as a professional through her detailed observations and evaluations. She's linked me with resources for my students. She's supported their families. She's incredibly organized and hardworking and holds herself and her staff to high standards. Much of what Joyce does in her day-to-day work cannot be taught or replicated. It comes from a combination of an amazing work ethic, common sense, and years of experience in the district. The thought of her being forced to leave, especially at this crucial time in School 12, is hard to imagine. I see no positive outcomes resulting from her move. For the good of the students and staff at the Anna Marie Douglas Academy School number 12, I sincerely hope that each of you will please reconsider and allow Joyce to stay at School 12.
Hello, I'm Karen Morales, and I am also a teacher at School 12. And I agree with everything that Tammy has stated, and so do our students. But before I read a couple of their letters and some things that our first graders said to us this morning, I just wanted to say that we understand that reassignment in this district and probably other districts happen. And I'm fairly confident that great discussions took place in making these decisions. But I guess I just want to respectfully say that I disagree with this one. We need consistency. Joyce is the only one that's been there. And the sad part is she's only been there 3 years. That's not enough to help keep a family together. We're trying to show children that we are there for them, and we keep pulling people away, or they're leaving, or whatever the case may be. But if we can't show them that security when they're with us, how are we going to get their respect? They don't know anybody. They don't feel safe. So I do have 2 letters from 5th graders, and I'm just going to read them verbatim. Dear Board of Education, we don't want Miss Dunn to leave. She is such a great assistant principal in so many ways. She's really nice, and she is always smiling. Also, she has helped our school stay together. She's been with us for 3 years and stayed with us, even through the crazy year when we had 3 principals. Another reason is that she makes sure everyone is following the rules. When someone isn't doing the right thing, she gets things back on track without being mean. Overall, I think Ms. Dunn is an amazing assistant principal in our school and that she should stay with us. Dear Board of Education, in my personal opinion, I think Ms. Dunn should stay at our school. She is the only assistant principal that has stayed with us since Dr. Alampi left. She helps keep our school in order. She is so kind, but strict in a good way. She always has a smile on her face. She has been with us for almost 3 years. That's a long time. In those 3 years, she has helped our school grow and become a better school. She has stayed with us through all the bad, crazy, and good times. She is such a good assistant principal, and I couldn't ask for another one. Overall, Ms. Dunn is amazing, and I hope you consider letting her stay. Again, Ms. Dunn is amazing. And here's some thoughts from my 1st grade students about how they feel about Ms. Dunn leaving. I feel sad. I want Ms. Dunn to stay. She helps everyone in our school. I feel mad because I want her to stay here. She helps me be good. Ms. Dunn makes me happy. She lets me visit her and read with her. I feel sad. She helps people be good. I feel worried that she's leaving. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Markman will be followed by Maria Castaneda. Probably mangled that. I apologize. Back in the day when Commissioner Funchess was up here, she used to help me with my pronunciation of names. She would gently whisper the correct pronunciation, so I apologize for incorrectly pronouncing some folks' names. Could you state your name for the record?
My name is Jeannie Markman. I'm an assistant principal at school number 7. Welcome, Mr. Dade. I appreciate your presence here. As I look at the school board, I have 2 of my former parents sitting up here on the board, so it's nice to know that I've had some effect somewhere. In my 19 years in the Rochester City School District, I've worked in 5 schools as a teacher and administrator. Being moved to another school has never been my choice. I know change is necessary and can often create growth. I understand change that benefits our students. Unfortunately, in our district, it happens far too often and for reasons that are often unexplained and are never transparent. Our students and families need and deserve consistency. School staff work every day to build rituals and routines, to build relationships with our students and their families, and to build trust with our students, their families, our school staff, and community at large. The first time I was moved, I was 8.5 months pregnant and was told I had 24 hours to pack and move as our school was getting a new principal and she was choosing her own staff. That kind of made sense to me at the time. The new principal was going to turn things around. Unfortunately, I was moved after school ended and there were no goodbyes with the students or staff as school was out for the summer. I was moved to a school to supervise construction, auto mechanics, HVAC, masonry, and several other unique specialty programs that I had little to no knowledge of. I made it through a whole school year with my first graduating class. It took me a long time to build relationships with 17 and 18-year-old students who thought we had little in common and were almost certain I wouldn't care about them and that they couldn't trust me. I was moved that August to another secondary school. I was able to get back to middle school where I started, and I was able to quickly build new relationships with students and their families that were new to the school in 7th grade. I almost made it through to the high school graduation of my first 7th grade class. I was moved 3 months before their graduation, less than 6 weeks after my own mother died. I went to another high school, replacing a series of 7 assistant principals in that position in 7 months. I was there 5 months, being moved less than 2 weeks before school started to my current position at School 7. In my current position, I have worked with 7 different special education administrators, 4 different assistant principals in 5 years. We've had 4 different school social workers, 4 parent liaisons, countless clerical changes, 3 different cafeteria managers, 3 different head custodians, and made 2 moves and been in 2 different buildings. I've had 4 different offices. This has been too much change for our school staff to be acclimated, much less our students and their families. In our district, a majority of our student population is housing and food insecure. I always keep track of my former students. I've held babies of my school babies and have even had the good fortune to have second-generation students. One of these will move up from our 6th grade tomorrow. His younger brother is in 4th grade. One of my former students owns his own barbershop, and he comes to our school and gives our students free haircuts and manicures before school events. It is all about building relationships and building our community. Change is necessary, but it needs to be planned, deliberate, and in our students' best interest. Many people, many assistant principals have been moved in the last 48 hours after many principal and leadership changes in the past few weeks.
Ms. Markman, are you about finished?
I'm almost done, sir. I'm sorry.
Thank you. No, that's all right.
I hope I didn't bore you with my personal saga, but it is not unique to me or to our school. Human beings need consistency and trust to build solid relationships, and our young people need it more than most. For some of our students, their school routine and those people that support them are all the consistency they have, and that is why I am advocating to continue my work at School 7. Thank you.
Maria Castaneda.
Good evening, and thank you for the opportunity to speak with you tonight. My name is Maria Cani Castañeda, and I am a teacher at School 12. I am here today to speak on over the 75 petition signatures in favor of keeping Joyce Dunn as one of our assistant principals at School 12. While many more individuals would have liked to have been here, many could not make the arrangements to be here in such short notice, as we only learned of this decision 2 days ago. The staff at School 12 have come together rather quickly and have shown unity and solidarity in support of retaining Joyce Dunn at School 12. My purpose here tonight is to have the petition acknowledged and entered into the minutes of tonight's board meeting, as over 75 petition signatures speaks volumes. We, the undersigned, support retaining Joyce Dunn as an administrator at School 12 for the following reasons. School number 12 needs some consistency through constant change. Ms. Dunn is effective in dealing with parents and staff. Ms. Dunn understands the intricacies of our complex school. Ms. Dunn holds students and teachers accountable. Thank you. I also would like to add that I have been at school number 12 for 29 years. I have been a part of that school's community through the good times and the bad times. This is my first time addressing the school board, and the second time I have written a letter of concern to the superintendent. In my time as a teacher here at School 12, I have never felt so compelled to speak out against the current decision made to involuntarily remove and transfer our vice principal, Joyce Dunn. I am asking that you take the time to reconsider this decision. I would also like to take this time to remind you that it has only been 3 years since our move back to School 12 after a long building renovation. In such a short period, we have been through many changes, challenges, and devastation. This included changes in leadership 4 in a year and a half, the addition of middle school staff and students, a tragic loss, and the relentless negative publicity. I strongly believe that it is essential to the school's continued healing and future growth that you reconsider your decision and allow Joyce Dunn to remain our one constant. She has many proven abilities in what makes an effective and dedicated administrator. Daily, she offers many things to both staff and students. 2 things she can provide that no one else can is her presence and skills that gives us consistency and positive stability in times of need. Joyce has demonstrated time after time that she is able to provide the discipline that is much needed for the staff as well as students. Her unique skills and knowledge in the areas of managing people, data, and processes to foster school improvement make her a pivotal administrator at our school. Her level of accountability has shown to raise staff to a much higher standard. I have worked closely with Joyce Dunn on school base and as an RTA rep for our school, and know that she has a clear vision of where our school needs to be in the future. She supports the team during rough times and brings out the best in the team. Thank you for taking the time to reconsider. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do I hand in my petition?
Yeah, you can hand the petitions to the clerk. Thank you very much. Just so that folks know, the petition will be handed to the board. The board will see a copy of it, but the decision to transfer is a decision exclusively made by the superintendent. And I want folks should know that. It's not a board decision. So, but the board will read those petitions. We appreciate the effort that you've put into that.
The new superintendent or the old?
All I'm doing is describing the law. And I just don't want people to have this misunderstanding about your appeal. Your appeal has to be to the superintendent in this instance. I do want to make a point of personal privilege and an observation. I hope she didn't leave. No, she's kind of slinking down in her chair. Sit up a little bit there. Vicky Govia is talking about leaders. Vicky Govia has graciously agreed. You can applaud. Vicky was gracious enough to come back. People talked about the struggles that school has had, just some bad circumstances, not attributable to the staff or the families there. Some tough things have happened. And Vicky stepped in and returned to the school that I know, loves so much. And we want to, the board would like to thank you for doing that. There is going to be a new principal there. Certainly can't fill anybody's particular shoes. He has his own shoes. The word is, and I've seen him in action at 23, he's an awesome principal. So I would respectfully ask folks to be patient. But I do appreciate the conversation about current leadership and past leadership. It is important, and Commissioner Hallmark and I had children that went to number 12 school, and in fact, that's right. And there are a lot of familiar faces, and we know the good work that takes place there, and sometimes headlines disguise that, but we know the good work is there, and we know that the good work will continue. So God bless you, and thanks everybody for taking care of our children. So, all right, we got to continue on with the business of the board, and the next item on the agenda is superintendent report. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Student leadership report. I'm sorry about that.
The discussion for the Student Leadership Congress meeting on June 19th, 2019 included the DSIP review, summer planning sessions, and the 2019 to 2020 elections for the Student Leadership Congress. Brennan Colwell, who is a coordinator in the Office of School Innovation, came and spoke to us about the district comprehensive improvement plan. He wanted our opinion and feedback about the district curriculum, adding programs to other schools, and our thoughts on staff transfers and displacement across the district. Also during our meeting, we continued planning for our summer meetings that we have set up. These will help us prepare for the upcoming school year. And lastly, at our meeting, we had our elections for the 2019 to 2020 school year. Our president will be Tatiana Spencer, an upcoming junior at World of Inquiry. Our vice president will be Aiden Delahanty, who is also an upcoming junior at World of Inquiry. I would like to give Tatiana an opportunity to come up and introduce herself.
Hi, my name is Tatiana. I'm a 10th grader going to 11th. I go to World of Inquiry, and I decided to become president to just give the kids in our district an opportunity to speak and just to make a difference in our community.
Excellent.
That concludes my report.
Thank you. Next is a parent advisory report. There is no report, is that right, Madam Clerk? And then we have Bilingual Education Council. I have no report, but no, you do have a report? Okay, come on up. Oh, that's all right. That's all right. No worries. Thank you.
I'm very proud tonight to introduce our new Vice President, Julie Garcia. And she's gonna make the honors to read the report today.
Okay, all right.
Okay, good evening.
Good evening.
Mina thought that she's gonna take me by surprise, but this is not a surprise. Here we go. Good evening, buenas noches. I am Julie Garcia, the Vice President of the Bilingual Education Council. Thank you for the opportunity to share some of the Council's activities. We are bilingual parents, community-based organizations, and educators representing and advocating for the education rights for the quality bilingual education for our students in the district. The district leadership and the board ought to recognize and appreciate the parent groups and volunteers, and we spend a lot of time in the district meetings and meetings with parents just within a month. It can easily reach 10 meetings. We are requesting the district compensate parents leaders from the PEC, PAC, and the CPAC with gas, car, and fund for child care. This may encourage other parents to get involved and they feel support. But our biggest concern was the breakdown in communication department in the district. Why we are not allowed to put our flyers like the other parents groups in the district building. We are still interested in helping advocate in Albany and reach out to whoever we need to help bring some resources to our children. We attend a community forum to hear for the candidate running for the board. The Bilingual Education Council are proud to introduce our new Vice President, Julie Garcia, in the East High School school. Hello. Thank you for the Office of Parent Engagement, the Bilingual Office, for all the help and support. We encourage parents to run the office and to participate for the voting process. We need more staff to make sure our children are successful. We have several cases of our special ed. We have resources we're taking away from students who really need special education services. Restructure the Bilingual Academy to be K-6 in one side and 7 to 12 in the other side, like the district promised in July when they show us the location and give the resources and more staff to Edison. Our next monthly meeting will be held on Tuesday, September 10 at 5 p.m. at the Grand Center on 700 North Street. All are welcome. And to conclude our report, thank you very much. Muchas gracias.
Okay. Now it's my turn. Okay, I want to talk about an honor student that we had at East High School, and he received a lot of scholarships. He graduates this year, His name is Dennis A. Olmero. Is her grandson, and there is his superintendent. He received a full ride and ART, certified of chef, 8 scholarships, and he came after the Hurricane Maria. He received the that thing. And Rochester Children's Scholarship Fund. He is a very, I don't know how to even explain how this kid keep going, push himself to the limit to get to this point. It was grandma, it was his teachers, and it was the kid who wanted to succeed. But we got this kid who, thanks God, succeed. And at the same time, I got another kid from a special ed that sadly it's been a year waiting for a placement. We have a CSC meeting last week. The CSC table was complete, so we cannot do nothing about his IEP. A year, 2 mediations, 5 CSC, and the kid's still in the same placement. Okay? I hear this kid talking. This kid is not mine. This kid is hers. But this kid is everybody here kid. And his education is on your hands. He gonna be another graduated, or he gonna finish dropping out because we don't have services for him. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Now for a review of and acceptance of monthly financial reports. Commissioner Powell, you got anything for us?
Yes, we do have the May financial reports. You'll find them on the dais in front of you. Everton is here. If you have any questions. If you have no questions, I would make a motion to approve the May financial reports.
There's a motion. Is there a second? Is there a second?
Second.
It's been seconded by Commissioner Hallmark. Any questions or comments regarding those financial reports? There being no questions or comments, all those in favor of approving the May financial report, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposition? Ayes have it.
We have no quarterly reports at this meeting. There is supporting documentation for a number of the resolutions in the packet under procurement, contracts for vehicle repair, water treatment chemicals for our boilers, athletic uniforms, which are either dry cleaned or refurbished. Helmets are repaired every year. Many of these contracts are going through Monroe to BOCES as the lowest responsible bidder. And it also includes milk and bread contracts, also procured through Monroe to BOCES. That concludes the financials.
Thank you. Any questions or comments to the superintendent or to Commissioner Powell? There being no questions or comments, let's move on to the next item on the agenda, which is Mr. Lowengar's report.
Thank you, Mr. President. I actually have a lengthy report, so I've cut some of it already. The June update, you have it in your packet, but I won't be presenting it. I will let Superintendent Dave do the valedictorian and the salutatorians, if you don't mind, at his first meeting. The other ones are self-explanatory. We have an award for one of our commissioners. This is from the New York State School Boards, and this is for achieving level 1 in terms of the training, and it goes to Natalie Shepard. Congratulations.
I thought we were going to hear a drum roll.
Yeah,
and the award goes to...
Okay, and here.
They'd have to give me the lifetime.
You going to give a speech?
Thank you.
I want to thank my family. All right.
Okay, let's see. Second, couple of quick announcements. We are, I'd like to, on Tuesday, if you're meeting in executive session, try to get an update on the EPO at East, so if that's possible, schedule. Be a secret, Sean, but no, we'll anyhow. Second of all, we're going to have some moves and some changes. The Bilingual Academy, I should have announced earlier, is going to go to Jefferson. There were a lot of complaints about them being at Hart Street. It really wasn't conducive as a school. So they're going to go to Jefferson. 54, which was going to do that for swing space, is going to go to Franklin. And the special ed, Keisha's cast of thousands, is going to go to Hart Street. So those are tentative, but we think it will work out. We can talk about them later. New leaders. I've been writing to you. Here's copies. There's no action tonight, but I wanted to remind you that new leaders was something that our distinguished educator headed up. It was also, leadership was talked about over and over in the DE's report. Our new superintendent also was a participant in the new program, or in the new leaders program. We'd like to bring this to Rochester. It's a 3-year program. It's very expensive, but there are funders on the horizon, both national and state funders. We also have gotten from Assemblyman Bronson a year-end closeout of approximately $500,000. I haven't given that away or anything, but we'd like to put towards new leaders $200,000. That'll come as an action, and I'm just giving you tonight explanations about it. I think Dr. Dade has really been eloquent in saying that leadership is key, and our principals and vice principals are key to that leadership. So he'll have more explanations. There'll be action. There's no action tonight that you need to take, but we don't have to commit any money until the overall program is about $4 or $5 million. We certainly are not putting that forward, but we do have to have skin in the game, and so I'll let the new superintendent explain more of it, but we do have the money if the other people come up with enough money to commit for the 3 years. Let's see. And then again, after the 3 years, we should be able to sustain this leadership training on our own, and that is really what's needed, as there's been some discussion tonight about leadership changes, but the reality is we have 15 to 20% changes every year. We should have a leadership program in order that we hire from within. Nothing against people that are from outside the district, but we have a lot of administrators, and we should be grooming them for the next spots that open up. Okay, so I have a presentation to do, and then if we can put that up, who's got it? Okay. What I thought I would, unless we're going to meet 1,000 times next week, this will be my last official meeting, and I thought I'd take sort of the opportunity to talk a little bit about enrollment and building inventory. I want to thank Beth and Mike, because they've done a lot of work. Their committee's been working. But again, tonight you don't have to make any decisions. You just have to sort of listen. I'll answer questions. But on the next sheet, we know that over the next 10 years, our projected enrollment may drop 3,700 kids. Now, that sounds like quite a lot of kids. It is, and there are different factors, but it's over 10 years, and the truth is it's about 300 and some kids per year. But given that, it's time for us to look ahead and see what we're going to do about that. If you switch to the next one, this is what our enrollment has done for the past 20 years. And you'll see that it has declined overall, but the green is the charter schools, and the charter schools have increased, and we're still responsible for all of them in terms of finances. But again, we think that line is going to continue to decrease. Now, you should also know in Monroe County, the student enrollment is on the decline also. So it's not all kids leave in our schools or whatever, but it's something that we ought to factor in for the next 10 years. So what do we consider? When we're looking at a facility, we look at classroom adequacy, the facilities condition, site recreation, ease of maintenance. The vehicles are major importance, the layout, technology, historical significance, electrical, and mechanical systems. Now, if you turn the page, there is even more to look at in terms of going back to 2004, we had surveys done of all of our facilities. They're all ranked according to that chart. 3 of them, the board has already closed them. They're the red ones on the far left. If you were just looking at which buildings are in poor shape, you would look to the left, and regardless of number, you would begin to think that they might be schools that had to be closed or repurposed. As you look to the right, the green bars have been already modernized. The orange are buildings that are going to be in phase 3. and 8 and 45 are the newest built elementary schools. So again, as you're looking at this, there are a lot of factors, but you would certainly look towards the left side of the graph to try to pick which schools could potentially be closed or repurposed. Now, again, I said you don't have to make any decisions tonight, but here are some of the guiding principles that we'd want to look at. Number one is we're in 4 leased buildings right now, and over time, we should try to get out of those leases. Some of them have longer or shorter terms, but again, leased buildings are still aided, but again, the district, if possible, would get out of the leased space. Second, we have a lot of buildings that have a wood structure. Now, some have been renovated or are scheduled, but again, 13 buildings. Fairly typical in a city, we have 21 buildings that have inadequate space, and that is typical in a city. But the ones that have great space are our high schools. I mean, they have athletic space and they're large and all that. So again, I'm going to give you one possible scenario, but again, our high schools are in good shape. And it says there, maintain high school campuses. Now, in one sense, we have a decline in the high school over 10 years. In the other sense, we have buildings that are in good shape at the high school. So we've got to figure out how do we solve both of those issues. Now, if you turn to the next page, what else do you look at? Well, of course, enrollment, grade level configuration, but again, I've got to tell you, as far as achievement, that's not the driving thing that affects how kids do. The instruction in the classroom is what affects how kids do, not the grade levels in the building. Programmatic needs, location, again, if all of our best buildings were all in the south, but if the kids aren't in the south, then what are you gonna do? And as we go in towards the consent decree and the L population, where they're going to be located, you want parents to be able to choose buildings where their kids are going to be and not be shopped around from one building to the next. So let's look at the high school buildings. And as you'll see from this next graph, our high schools are about 21 or 20% special needs kids, but we have not maintained that in every building. And you'll see that receivership schools tend to be ones that have high enrollment. So one of the things we need to do over time is make sure we're balancing the special needs population. Easier said than done, because we also want to balance it for special needs parents, that they know what school they're going to and they're going to stay at that school. We're not going to shop them around. So the next page tells you about the ELL population, and we have the same thing. Schools on the left have a high percentage, and again, our percentage is about 15%, so all schools should be around 15%. This isn't going to be done by just pulling kids out and sending them to new places. But it is one of the considerations as you look at all of our buildings. And again, you'll notice that the schools in red are receivership schools and also have a high population of L students. So part of this sort of whole thing with our buildings is to balance off that all schools will have a fair percentage of all different kinds of kids. So you've seen the next chart a lot. It really tells the whole story of receiverships to all the way to schools in good standings. I tend to not to focus on that so much, only because the state changes their definition all the time. Second of all, as soon as the urban districts fall below or actually achieve, then they'll change the definition again. But it is a way of looking at schools that need to be repurposed. So, a theory of action, which is easy for a person leaving the school district to put it out there. But one, if enrollment continues to decline. Two, if our current inventory remains the same, but remember we have swing space needs. So even though we had 4 spaces of rental space, we always are needing right now about 3 or 4 spaces of swing space. Lease space needs to be reduced or eliminated. The high schools are in the best shape with the most land, but that's not where we have kids. So one of the ideas is that the high schools become 712 with about 1,100 students. Now, also where that helps is that 7th and 8th graders, although they'd be in the same building, they'd be separated, they would have a separate beds code because that's a hard group to get off of all the lists the way the state is doing it. So the kids wouldn't have to, they'd be in one elementary and one secondary school. We'd have 2 schools in one at the secondary level. One concept is that we would begin at the elementary school to have neighborhood schools, and we'd have to do some work with transportation and all that, but you know, we're up to almost $100 million in transportation costs, but we get aid of 90+%, so we don't worry that much, but at some point we can make the argument to the state, we can spend less money, but you need to forget that 1.5 miles and really bus virtually everyone. And we'd still be way under that $100 million. We still have a structural deficit. Even though I'm leaving, I hope Everton's the last voice on this. You have to still listen to him, because the way our budget is structured, even if it goes up 3% and we've gone into the fund balance, we'll be $35 million short in the year 2021. Now, if we get that aid, we're great. But if we don't, we're going to be reducing again. And so we just always have to remember, expenditures have to be in line with our revenue. So with all that said, and with me getting out of town, there's probably 4 elementary schools that could be closed. But again, you'd have to look at lease space, swing space, the conditions of the building, and where we are. But it is something that over the next 10 years, and I'm not saying to wait till year 9 to make a decision, but it's a good time to start looking at all of our facilities. So on the last page, the necessary decision points. 2021, we're going to still face a deficit. I think that you should, early in the year, talk about considerations with community input about if we had to close some buildings, where would we look? Not popular for you to do, and there's never a logical answer to that. You have to keep in mind the zones, but I think the idea of elementary moving to neighborhood and secondary schools moving to choice, they already are choice, but every high school has to be a great choice. We no longer can have a couple of them being a great choice and then the rest of them are in trouble. So we need to think more about how every high school would be a great choice for kids. And fortunately, your modernization plan is right on point. It's fixing up the buildings that need to be fixed. Now, on some, I gave you the good news from Assemblyman Bronson about the money. The bad news is that Phase 3 has been slowed up. I'm going to meet with Jennifer Pyle from the Big Five, Mike, and try to find out what happened. There's a discrepancy. Everybody has their own theory. I'll meet with the committee and then report back to you what's happened and how quickly we can get Phase 3 up and running, because we don't want to lag in that's one of the things we've been doing great. So, questions on that? Go ahead.
Thank you for giving us such a comprehensive overview. You did touch on elementary school choice and the concept of moving back towards neighborhood schools. And I don't want to debate the merits or demerits of that, but one of the things as a board, I've tried to raise the issue of revisiting our parent preference managed choice policy. And to do so in its entirety seems to be impossible. But there's one thing I think we do have at least a foundational consensus on, is that is, in order to invite and inspire more families to choose their neighborhood school, we ought to have a bigger radius to draw from. You know, to cut off a family at a quarter mile plus 10 feet means that kids who could very well walk to school have been denied the preferential treatment that they might otherwise get. So if my colleagues are supportive of that, I did talk to, and I'm not asking for action tonight, but I did talk to Anne Marie Lerner about how big of a technological challenge would it be to change the programming. And she said it would not be an overwhelming task if we were to break that specific function off and address it separately and sooner, because it's so much simpler a conversation than the larger parent preference managed choice conversation. That's my contribution. Thank you.
You're absolutely right. Nowadays, the GPS system can virtually track where every child lives. And this couldn't happen quickly because you don't want to move kids around like pawns. But at the end of the day, some way, if you can open up busing to everybody, regardless of how far they have to go because of safety, weather, and all that, I believe people would go back to at least their elementary, the closest school they can get to. The other thing I'd say to the board is, I wish it were different, but you can set up great schools and you say, well, why don't other people look at them and make their school like that? I've been in this business a long time. That's not how it works. We have to decide that all 50 or 49 of our schools are going to be great. So every choice a parent makes is they don't have to choose because of the quality of the school. And that won't happen in 1 year. Hopefully Terry will lead the charge. But at the end of the day, we don't want any kids to be at a school that isn't quality. And I wish that as educators, we copied more and set up a school like the one down the street, but we tend not to. And so therefore, we've got to keep in mind, we've got to make every school great, that there's no excuse for some being great and other ones, we're waiting for them to do it. Any other thoughts, long-term or?
Vice President Elliott?
Thank you, Mr. President. As I was looking at this, one of the things that came to my mind, I thought I just saw an article in the paper, and I'm looking at your student enrollment data. Not only are the charter schools a competitive force against us, but also the whole urban-suburban programs, because they need more students, and which means that the money comes with the students. And so, you know, they are looking to, while, you know, I'm not necessarily all in favor of urban, suburban, I understand it, because I think that our school should be as great as theirs, and our students wouldn't have to go out there. But the enrollment in the suburban schools is decreasing, and as such, they want our students now. You know, isn't that something? You know, so I would just point out that, you know, they didn't want these black and brown kids before. Now, because there's money involved, now they want our children. And I'm a supporter of the urban suburban program now, because we're not doing the job that we need to do, and parents are supporting it in a way. And the other thing I just wanted you to clarify, Mr. Superintendent, about, I just want to make sure on your slide 8, high school considerations percentage of SWD 9 through 12, you had said that the issue here is with a high population overall in terms of receivership schools, I think. And I'm trying to figure out if you're saying only population or those schools that have a high SWD population. You were
It's a factor, but not the only factor. But again, if our population of SWD at the secondary level is 20% or a little bit lower, then all our schools should have the same percentage of SWD kids. But again, it has to be done over time, because we're not going to just move kids. Now, the interesting thing, in Everton, maybe you can help. I saw that article about the urban suburban, and again, for a guy leaving town, I'm not in favor of it until it is equal to most the kids going in is equal to the kids going out, but that's neither here nor there. But I thought, do they adjust the money based on enrollment, or are we all sort of fixed? And because that's the piece I wasn't sure.
Yes, it's based upon the enrollment in the charter school, but with that money, unlike, not charter school, urban, suburban, but unlike charter school, the charter school, we get the money and then pay the charter. The urban, suburban, the state takes the money out before they give it to us and pay the charter school, the urban, suburban.
Suburban schools.
But the urban, suburban, do they get more state aid as their enrollment goes up?
Yes.
Or they do?
Yes.
Okay, and do we get less aid because our enrollment goes down?
Yes.
Okay.
Based upon the enrollment, because when we file our ST3, you've got to put the amount of students that's going there, so they use that as a factor.
Well, then it's a money issue that the board's going to have to wrestle.
And then one of the
And transportation.
the other issue around the facilities modernization plan, I did speak with Assemblyman Bronson today, and I have additional information for you. I'll share after the meeting. And I said, point of personal privilege. I just want to take this time to thank someone that I have learned to highly respect, both these people, Superintendent Loengard, as well as Linda Simmons. This is their last meeting, and I would be remiss if I didn't take an opportunity. I'm sure that the president may do something, but I wanted to just take a minute to talk about how refreshing it's been working with both Dan Loengard and Linda Simmons. They're better known as what it is, Fred and Ethel?
Fred and Ethel.
Fred and Ethel.
The Mertzes.
The Mertzes, they're better
Mertzes.
known as that. It's been a privilege to work with them. They have worked very diligently. Dan is very strong and makes the decisions that are best for this district. They're not based on emotion. And so I really have appreciated his leadership, and with the support from Linda. Linda had no idea she would be back a second time, and of course, when she was able to step in as interim superintendent as well. And so just from a personal point, I just wanted to appreciate you both, and thank you so much for helping us while we have identified another superintendent. It has been so less stressful. Other than me being in the role of an officer, if I wasn't in the role of officer, you wouldn't see me, because I'm just that confident in your leadership. So I wanted to thank you very much for that. Thank you both.
I know Commissioner Shepard had some questions about that, and we'll talk about Dan and Linda leaving in a minute.
Okay, I have a couple other things, and then go ahead.
Because y'all know they always trying to fight to give gratitude first, every single meeting.
Right.
But I'm not sure if this is a question that can be answered now or through the board log. So on page 6, the first thing is that we have 4 locations that have leases that you have on here, and I just wanted to make a request that we can get the years or specific dates when those leases are up.
Okay.
Or you could just re-forward the leases and I can read through them. And also on page 6, where the bullet says buildings on inadequate sites, you listed 21. And I just wanted to know which buildings those were, because I do remember when Mike Schmidt was going over the plans for all of our buildings, I couldn't remember if it was that many sites. And I wanted to know the list of the 21 and what does it mean for each site? What is the inadequacy for each of those sites?
Okay. And they, again, schools in the city typically are on smaller sites. And it doesn't mean they're illegal, but it is, and some of our elementary schools have really no play space in all of that. So, but we'll get you all 21 and what the acreage is.
Any other questions? Dan, you said you had some other?
Yeah, I have one more thing. I did want a couple of thank yous, and then I'll be quiet. I know Carmine is watching the clock. But
is that his job?
That is his job. He was going to. But first, I like the Vice President said, I want to thank Linda publicly. She's, in the 40-some years I've been in this, she's bar none the best administrator and teacher I've seen. And it was nice when Cynthia said, I make decisions and then they're changed by Linda, but really, bar none, it's rare that administrators can do the detail and the big picture. In fact, I found very few that do that, and that's Linda's specialty. She makes sure every T is crossed and I is dotted, but also looks at the big picture and involves everybody in it. I tend to, well, let's get it done and do it, but she'll always say, have you talked to this one? Have you asked this and all that? And so I can't thank you enough. I'll be happy when I'm not listening to you, but okay. And also to the board. I know there's been a lot said and all that, but I've worked for a number of boards in my career, and this is the first one that honestly, there is disagreement, but it's really disagreement about how fast can we change things for kids. I've always had a board that somebody's fighting about the money. This group doesn't fight about the money. There's no expense that they'll pass up if it's to benefit kids. And so, although we have to rein that in, it has been the best board that I've ever worked for. And also, with all the slings and arrows, they seem to keep their head about what's important in the kids. So I can't thank you enough. 3, I've met Terry. I trust him. I hope that he has, we were kidding, 5, 10, 15 years. The stability is really key for this district. People have left, and for any number of reasons, but at the end of the day, what suburban advantages are, they don't have nearly the problems or the issues, but they hold on to their leaders. And I hope this board, you got a good one, you hold on to him, and I think he'll do great stuff. His emphasis is on teaching and learning, and that's what all of it should be on. That's how the kids learn to read, write, and do math, and graduate. So regardless of what the commissioner, the mayor, the chamber, board elections, or whatever, I think you've got the kind of leader that's going to talk about teaching and learning, and that will really make the difference. And last, but certainly not least, the staff that's here have been fabulous. I don't know what the criticism or whatever is, but they work night and day. Don't complain except Carmine. No. They truly work night and day to get this stuff right, and I can't thank you enough. It's been the best group that I've ever had a chance to work with, so I thank you for your hard work all the time, even at late hours of the night, Saturdays and Sundays, they're already working. So that's it for the report. Okay. There you go.
Please stand up. Give him one more.
It's for these people.
So you know,
Linda, you're not going to stand up? Never mind. Okay.
No, the standing ovation was for her.
I know Dan was looking to see if I was standing.
Of course, okay.
You know, this could be a very long meeting if we all shared our thanks and appreciation, but we won't do that tonight.
Good.
We got something special planned for you on Monday. When's your last official day?
No, we're not even
You're gonna
counting
stay?
anymore. I didn't say that, but
So
You need Terry,
I hate to have folks just sort of hold back, but if you could, hold back until Monday afternoon. We've got something special planned for you. So again, I could probably myself talk for a good 20 minutes, but then Commissioner Vice President Elliott's record of 8:30 would
Talk.
But again, we look forward to seeing you both on Monday. And no, I'll save the comments for then. All right. Next item on the agenda is consideration of resolutions. Yeah. What's that?
Were you going to talk about the salutatorians? Did you know?
Oh, no, he was gonna do that
leaving
later.
that for Terry at his first.
When he has his next meeting.
When
Right,
he's
right.
sitting here, he can do it.
Yeah, so the next item on the agenda would be the consideration of resolutions. Now, I'm going to tell you, this could get a little complicated, and I know I can rely on my colleagues to set me straight, but there are a number of matters that we are going to go into executive session on, and if I'm not paying close attention, I will miss those. So I would ask for the support of everybody up here to gently guide me if I make a mistake. So, of course, when we make a motion to go into executive session, we don't do that until all this other stuff is cleared up. So I'm going to try to work my way through this. For example, 949, Resolution 949 is a matter that has to go into executive session. So we're not going to vote on that. Later on, I'll take a motion to go into executive session. I believe, well, I personally would like to go into executive session on Resolution 950. So I'm going to skip over that right now. I'm going to hope that there's a motion to go into executive session on 950. So now we're at Resolution 951. I need a motion to discuss Resolution 951. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Commissioner Hallmark. Is there a second?
Second.
Commissioner Powell, thank you. Any questions or comments regarding Resolution 951? There being no questions and comments, all those in favor of Resolution 951 say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition?
Yes, one. No for me.
Get that, Madam Clerk? All right, so let's move on to Resolution 954. No, yeah, 54. Yes, 54. Thank you. 954. Can I get a motion to discuss Resolution 954?
So moved.
And moved by Commissioner Powell, seconded by Commissioner Hallmark. Any questions or comments regarding Resolution 954? There being no questions or comments, all those in favor of Resolution 954 say aye. Aye. Any nays?
And nay.
Got that, Madam Clerk? All right, so if my glasses are working right, I'll just use my eyes. It looks like we're on Resolution 959. No, I'm sorry. I'm going to need to go into executive session or look for a motion to go into executive session on Resolution 959. So let's not talk about that right now. I need a motion to discuss Resolutions 960 to 964. 960 to 964. Been moved by Commissioner Hallmark, seconded by
Second.
Commissioner Powell. Any questions or comments regarding Resolution 960 to 964?
I have a question, but I could still vote on this. I'll just ask it when we go into executive session.
Thank you, Vice President Elliott. Any other questions or comments? There being no further questions or comments, all those in favor of Resolutions 960 to 964, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposition?
No to all except for 961. 961 is okay, yes.
That's a yes to 961. All right. Again, this was resolutions, which we just took a vote on 960, 964. You can clarify something if you like.
Until 962?
960 to 964.
Okay.
You're good? All right, we're going to skip
President-
over.
President.
Yes, ma'am?
I made a mistake, actually. I needed to go into executive session about 954. I know we already voted. Is it too late to talk about it?
954. We did vote on, we already voted on 954. I think the rules are if a person who voted in favor of it makes a motion, help me out here, parliamentarian.
Motion to reconsider.
Motion to reconsider, we can do that.
So can I make a motion to?
Well, no, you can't. Well, yes, you did, because you voted in favor of it. That's right.
Yeah, I want to make a motion.
There is a motion. I'll second it. Well, I can't. Does somebody want to second that?
Second.
Been seconded by Vice President Elliott to reconsider 954. So any questions or comments regarding that particular motion to reconsider? All those in favor of Commissioner Shepard's motion to reconsider Resolution 954, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposition?
Nay.
There's one nay. Got that, Madam Clerk? All right, so my cheat sheet is getting kind of complicated here, but it looks like I'm going to add 954. eventually we'll take a motion on that, Commissioner Shepherd, to go into executive session. All right, so that leaves us with, we voted on 960 to 964. I need a motion to discuss Resolution 966.
What about 965?
965 is a matter that will go into executive session. That deals with the same employee or prospective employee in 959.
President White, I'm
Yes,
just
ma'am.
a little confused. What about 952, 53, 55, 56, 57, 58?
They're
Are they all in executive as well?
No.
They're not, there's no resolutions.
Oh, okay.
They're just placeholders.
Yeah,
Yep.
I don't like the way that's done. I don't like the way we do that, but,
Or grade that out.
So the question was, what about those, the numbers may not seem sequential, but what happens is when staff prepare these packets, if there's no particular resolution, those numbers, connected with those numbers just stay blank. So there are no specific action steps for those resolutions that Commissioner Hallmark
and what Commissioner
mentioned.
Hallmark, Mr. President, is also referring to is that on the, in the list here, that they
We
be
should grade
divvied
them
out
out. We should
on
grade
this
them out
list
here,
as well.
just like we do here.
Right.
Okay.
Madam Clerk, you might want to follow up and having a conversation with
Gary.
Commissioner Hall.
Okay.
All right.
966.
Okay, yes, we're on 966. Any motion to discuss 966?
So moved.
It's been moved by Commissioner Powell, seconded by
Second.
Mr. Hallmark. Any questions or comments regarding Resolution 966? There being no questions or comments, all those in favor of Resolution 966 say aye. Aye. Any opposition?
Nay.
Got that one nay, Madam Clerk? All right, next, I need a motion to discuss Resolutions 970 through 971. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner Hallmark, seconded by
Second.
Commissioner Powell. Any questions or comments regarding Resolutions 970 and 971? There being no questions or comments, all those in favor of Resolution 970 and 971 say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposition?
And nay.
Got that, Madam Clerk? All right, I need a motion to discuss additional pay resolutions 973 to 978. Is there a motion?
Move it.
Commissioner Hallmark has moved additional pay resolutions. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Powell. Any questions or comments regarding additional pay resolutions 973 to 978? There being no questions or comments, all those in favor of resolutions 973 to 978 say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposition?
No.
Nay.
Madam Clerk, you recorded those two nays. The ayes have it. There are 4 votes in favor of those resolutions. I need a motion to discuss resolutions 979 through 985.
So moved.
Thank you, Commissioner Hallmark. Seconded by Commissioner Powell.
Yes.
Any questions or comments regarding those particular procurement and supply resolutions? There being no questions or comments, all those in favor of resolutions 979 to 985 say aye. Aye. Any opposition?
And nay.
I need a motion to, I assume you recorded that, Madam Clerk. I need a motion to discuss educational facilities resolutions 986 through 988. It's been moved by Vice President Elliott. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Hallmark. Any questions or comments regarding resolutions 986 through 988? There being no questions or comments, all those in favor of resolutions 986 to 988 say aye. Aye.
And nay.
It's one nay. You got that, Madam Clerk? All right. Moving along here, I need a motion to discuss other resolutions designated as resolutions 989 through 989. That's,
I think
is
it's
that type
supposed to be
of?
990.
990.
I thought we have a meeting on the first meeting of the month to go over EPO stuff. Why are you involved in our stuff here?
Well, occasionally,
You ain't got to explain that. I'm just-
did you, by the way, did you get your dinner?
I told him that's okay.
Oh, no, man, you can't be welching on your, come on now.
I told him, I was just teasing.
No, okay, if she don't want the dinner, I want the dinner. And by the way, you can cook it, because I'm gonna put all your business in the street, but have you ever looked at, I am gonna do it anyways. Have you ever looked at Sean's Facebook page? It'll make you hungry. The man can cook, well, it looks good. I don't know if it tastes good, but anyway, all right. So it was 989 through 990.
Is it 990 or 999?
Let's take a look.
Because the
It's $9.99.
$9.99, I think.
Yeah, it's $9.99. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Been moved by Commissioner Hallmark, seconded by Commissioner Powell. Any questions or comments regarding resolutions 989 through 999? There being no questions or comments, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition?
Nay. Nay.
I need a motion to discuss resolutions 1001 to 1007. These are the EPO resolutions. They've been moved by Commissioner Hallmark, seconded by, come on now,
Second.
Commissioner Davis. Thank you. Any questions or comments regarding resolutions 1001 through 1007?
I would just comment that.
Yes, ma'am.
1002 isn't strictly speaking an EPO. It's kind of falls under the facilities. It's rental of parking spaces for World of Inquiry. There may be some, and Resolution 104 has nothing to do with the EPO either. So it's more, this category is more like another other.
Other one, other two.
Other one and other two. Thing one and thing two.
Well, I would just ask staff to be cognizant of the fact that they're labeling these and that they label them appropriately. I know these were a lot of resolutions on the table tonight, but yeah, those could have easily been called out. We do try, and staff knows this, we do try to separate the EPO resolutions from the other stuff, but the resolution's just the same. 1001 through 1007, can I get a vote on that? All those in favor of resolutions 1001 through 1007, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition?
No to 1007.
Nay.
And nay to all of them, Commissioner Davis?
I'm sorry.
No, that's all right.
Yes.
Yep. Okay,
Except, I'm sorry,
No, it's all right.
except 1004.
except 1004. You got that, Madam Clerk? All right, so I need to let you all know our next meeting is not until July the 11th, 6 o'clock. You can see additional meeting information by going to our website. Of course, everybody knows it's www.rcsdk12.org. But we're not done here just yet. I have to have a motion to go into executive session for the purpose of discussing particular employees. I put plural on that because we're going to talk about tenure appointments. We also have to talk about other matters relating to discipline of particular employees and potential litigation, as I understand it. So can I get that motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
And it's, yes, Carl?
Mr. President?
Yep.
I would suggest with respect to the other employee resolution that we specifically note that this is a resolution to consider a charge under section 3020B of the Education Law.
I wasn't sure if I should mention that, but now I know I should have, and I appreciate that. So the motion is modified accordingly. All those in favor of going to executive session for the purposes enumerated by myself and Carl Christoph, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? For you gladiators out there, if you really want to see us when we close the meeting off, and because we will be voting when we come out of executive session, again, there are a number of tenured appointments, and there may be some news about some special education stuff that may come out when we come out of executive session. We'll be coming out of executive session on the second floor out of the superintendent's conference room. As we make our way out, I would encourage you all to take a look at the video called You Got This. I want to thank Terry Dade for being the inspiration behind having a rally at World of Inquiry. That was Terry's idea, to sort of motivate our children across the finish line, to get adults refocused, not on the future of this board, but on the future of our children. So thank you, Terry, for that motivation. We had a great time. Commissioner LeBron showed up. She lost her voice. I lost my voice. And Terry did a great job motivating everybody there. So thank you.
Mr. President,
Yes,
I just
sir.
wanted to remind you that today is one of my team members' last days
Todd.
with us.
Todd.
Todd will be leaving us next week.
He's on the board behind. like in
Thank
the
you,
corner,
thank you,
right?
thank you. We're losing a lot of folks, good folks today, and I feel kind of awkward about doing this, but I gotta speak the truth. You know, sometimes we don't want to be selective about people that we point out, but Todd is the proverbial behind-the-scenes guy. And I cannot tell you, and I know everybody's got their own Todd story, but I can't tell you how many times I've gone to Todd at the last minute and said, Todd, I need this song. I need this video played. And he is there ready at hand. He's a steady person for this district. So if you all could join me in a round of applause for Todd for all the good work you do. So we can't even see him, but thank you very much, Todd. Thank you, Carlos, for reminding me. Todd, we really appreciate your work.
Mr. President.
Yes, yep, sure.
Point of personal privilege. Flowers to them that are still with us. Tom Mon does the voiceover for our commercials for UPK, and it's awesome. He does our robocalls. I'm glad to have you with us, Tom.
But you're not going anywhere. It's just.
Flowers for them while they're still with us.
So we're going to go into executive session, but we've encouraged everybody to forward this video to parents, students. Again, the notion is to get ourselves embracing, pushing, cajoling, shoving our kids across the finish line, and forget what's going to happen to 7 adults. There are 7,000 children taking Regents exams. I've said to the mayor, I've said to everybody, stop the conversation about what's going to happen to us. Let's focus on these kids. So that's what the video is about. God bless and have a nice night. Good night, everybody.
I will fight for you. I always do until my heart is black and blue. And I will stay with you. We'll make it to the other side like lovers do.